Eskom wage talks are continuing today, which could be make or break for workers. Three unions gave the power utility a week to consult their budget after they made counter demands of 9%, dropping from the initial 15%. Eskom had last offered just over 4%, which was also a move from a 0% increase the employer had initially tabled. Today's resumption of talks started just before midday and are expected to continue for the rest of the week, as both parties had agreed on setting aside days to finalize these negotiations.
Well, I believe that we will not get what we want. That would be very unreasonable from our side, and especially from our member side. So Solidarity has all along spoke to our members saying that we will not be able to get a 9.5%. We will try our best, but where we're going to end, we don't know, but we will try our best. So they must expect that whatever we get on the table, that would be the best situation for this year. And I hope we can get a long-term agreement so that there could be stability in the company.
Now, staying with that story, for the latest on the talks, we have our reporter on the story in Woodmead, Kulofelo Setlajile. Kulofelo, obviously you're going to get more reaction for us. Over to you.
Well, a good afternoon to you and our viewers at home. Of course, our negotiations have been continuing here between Eskom and the labor unions, and it's been quite intense, understanding that they've had previous engagements before where they didn't agree on the wage increase, initially with Eskom coming with 0% and then going on to offering a 4.7% wage increase. And now during the sessions today, the unions were allowed to break out into their individual settings where they had caucuses just to discuss and see whether or not what is now on offer based on Eskom's new mandate is something that they themselves can consider. But to give us more updates and an in-depth take as to what exactly has been going on inside, understanding that, of course, that those negotiations are closed sessions. I'm joined here by Noom, who, of course, are fresh from their conference, which I must say was a successful one at that. Good day, sir. Thank you very much for giving us this opportunity. Could you just please kindly give us an update as to what exactly has been going on inside, and does it seem like the wage negotiations are now being conducted in good faith?
Yes, let me confirm that we are still in the wage negotiations. We still have the energy to engage. But what I can say is that today Eskom came with an offer, a revised offer of giving us 0.3 from this 4.7, which apparently now they are offering us a 5%. And then they also are proposing that we must sign here a 3-year deal. And out of that deal, they want then to increase the second year by 0.6. And in the third year, then they want to give an offer of 0.7. But that is on top of the inflation. So it is unpredictable that what then will be the inflation. But looking at the rate in which the inflation is in South Africa is moving, one assumes that it is an inflation that takes a slow pace to even reach a 5%. The thing that it can do is to either be in the margin of 4. Now it becomes very, very difficult for us to accept an offer that is going to be determined by the inflation. So we are not having any problem to take an offer or to settle with a 3-year deal, whether it's a 1-year deal, 2-year deal, 3-year deal. We don't have a problem with that in principle. But we are saying to the Eskom, if you sign an agreement of a 3-year deal, we will expect the Eskom to give us guaranteed figures, not a 0.6 with the inflation. You can understand that it will be difficult for us to go back to the workers and tell them in a real sense what is the meaning of this offer, because it will depend on the inflation. And unfortunately, we can try our best to use the bones or to predict and prophesy. We can't imagine what will then be the inflation. So it's very difficult. So with that approach of Eskom, we are rejecting the offer.
And now you came into these negotiations as three separate unions. Looking at what now Eskom is offering, as the unions, have you had the opportunity to come together as Solidarity NUM as well as NUMSA, just to look at whether or not this is feasible for your members, considering the mandate that each has gotten from its members?
Apparently, I want to just express that during these wage negotiations, we have never seen ourselves as Labour being united the way we are united. I want to confirm with you that as Labour in these wage negotiations, we are highly united. So I can confirm now that this current offer doesn't meet any of the union's demands. So it is still far from all of us, the three of us, the mandate. I can talk, and I take it that each union will talk for itself, but from the caucuses that we jointly normally have, it becomes very clear. You must know that Eskom has got an offer that is on the table, a demand that is on the table, and that is a demand that we agreed, all of us, the three of us, that if Eskom can address the three items, which is wages, housing, and bonuses, with a proviso that if we give them 3 years, they also guarantee that they will get stability, and they will also make a stability on our side that in those 3 years they won't retrench our members. But I want to put it very clear that we are not saying that the company can restructure, no, because in our view, you can restructure without even retrenching the workers. Because in my view, for example, even when you restructure, but you look at the areas where people are voluntary separation packages, you look at an option where natural attrition comes, you don't replace those positions if it's not a critical position. So those things can still be done. Those ones we don't reject them. But what we reject is to say is when Eskom can come and say, no, we want to retrench 5,000 employees, 6,000 employees. That is what then we say, no, don't do it that way. But the company can still restructure. It's not a condition that we put on the table that, no, within these 3 years you can restructure. No, they can still restructure. But what we don't appreciate is the fact that they must not have a forceful retrenchment, but they can still engage us on restructuring. That does not going to have a forceful retrenchment. If that is the case, we will then support them.
And now looking at Eskom, I mean, initially they were citing financial difficulties for why they were offering a 0% increase, and then they went up to 4.7%. I mean, for you as the unions, do you believe that you could possibly come to a point where as the unions you drop lower than 9% so that you can meet Eskom halfway, if in fact the issues that they themselves are saying they're having are legitimate?
No. We don't have a problem with that. You must understand, it can be about Eskom. This issue of the 3-year term is an Eskom issue. In essence, they wanted 4 years. Now we compromise and say we can give you 3 years. If we have to deal with the matter where we are at 9% and Eskom is at 5% now, we don't have a problem. We can engage with Eskom, but that would then is going to be a 1-year deal. Because there we will not entertain a long-term deal. So it is the choice of Eskom. You must understand that in sometimes we are in this predicament because of their own choice. So if they want a 1-year deal, we can give the 1-year deal. We can negotiate from the 9% where they are at 5%. And to me, I will be saying that can be one of the most attractive approach, because one of the things that will then make us to fight is when then we want to fight for the 2nd year and the 3rd year, of which in me, I'm saying that is unnecessary. We can use this other year to see whether Eskom can find itself. But we must clarify this issue that Eskom is distressed, and the problem of Eskom is Eskom itself. We know the issue of Brian Molefe. Now the workers must pay the mismanagement. If they want to be honest, they must tell us that let us sign a wage agreement of 3 years. We will go and deal with ourselves. We are raising this issue that in the past Eskom used to have 80 executives. Today they've got more than 500. Now whose problem is that? It's the problem of Eskom. So sometimes you don't have a problem and tell other people that you have got a problem, as long as that problem is the problem that you have done yourself. For example, we all this time we hold a view that says that you can integrate the IPPs to the Eskom. We don't reject IPPs, mind you. We are saying we need to have an energy mix, but in doing that, we are saying create IPPs that will compete with Eskom in generation of electricity. You don't create IPPs that are solely relying on Eskom, that they sell to Eskom. And when you look at the margins, they sell at Eskom at a higher price. Then how Eskom is going to stabilize on that issue? But we expect that that isn't something that Minister Radebe must come and explain to us, that he was not the minister. What influenced him to understand the IPP that we don't understand even today? We were there with the previous minister, whom we convinced that this is the wrong approach, and she understood. He himself came, then he has got an understanding. But I want to confirm that he's running. He don't want to have a meeting. He must be bold enough and come to our meetings, because we invited him in our Congress, we invited him in the meetings. He is a minister of apology. So, and month end is earning a salary, but he's a minister with an apology. And we are not going to take it very kind. Very soon we'll call ANC to say, remove this minister because he's not working. He's on apology. He can't go to stakeholders. How can you have a minister who's afraid to engage stakeholders? So, but we think that the ANC will come to a sense, because to say this minister is afraid of stakeholders. So in essence, I think that he doesn't qualify to be a minister.